Hello and welcome to the Israel Hayom studio in Tel Aviv. Editors Simona Weinglass and Ganot are here with me, Elie Sherman, to discuss the issue. The government has launched its new biometric database program. What that means is it's invited citizens in Rishon LeZion and Ashdod to come to the local Interior Ministry offices and submit their fingerprints, their facial contours to the Interior Ministry and receive in return a smart ID. Steve, you headed to give your biometrics?
Well, you know, I think that the first people who should do this are the Knesset members who voted for it. But after that, I'll be the next in line. When I first looked into this issue, I was actually against it. The more I looked into it, the more I thought, this is not a bad plan. Yeah, I'm for it.
Well, I would like other people to do it, and I will just wait and see how it goes, because I don't want a hacker in Saudi Arabia taking my personal information. But I do think it's good for society as a whole, because it can prevent tax fraud and drug trafficking and other things.
Exactly.
I totally agree. I'm not sure if it's been proven exactly what kind of fraud can be prevented with a smart ID system versus a non-smart ID system.
Oh,
I agree that it's an untested program, and because of that, this is the lack of information, because we don't know who's going to be protecting this database.
You know
it just
what?
seems kind of sketchy to me. I'm not ready to give my information.
Agree. I think the old system had practically no security at all. I mean,
the current system.
The current system, Israeli IDs are easy to forge. I hate to say it, but it's true. And
what are you talking about? Most people don't even speak Hebrew in the world.
It doesn't matter.
You know what? I don't live in fear of someone forging my present identity card. It's just not an issue for me. I would be more fearful of my name being in a database and it being hacked.
So let me give you some statistics.
Yeah.
Last year, 130,000 ID cards were reported either stolen or lost, and an inordinate number of those were stolen by people who have criminal records, including records of forgery. Okay, it's not.
I agree that this
yeah,
could
but
take
what happens to you? I mean, if someone steals your credit card information, you get the money back. It's not.
Well, there's an insurance program, and on top of that, if you get your ID stolen, or let's say someone forges your signature at a bank, you can always go and change your signature, right? If someone steals your fingerprints
or
your facial contours, that is, you can't replace that. You can't change it.
No,
so they've stolen your identity for good.
Wait,
smart cards are a proven technology. This is an Israeli technology. It's what's used to
smart cards are an Israeli technology.
Well, Israel is one of the leaders, one of the world leaders in protecting things like satellite broadcasts through smart cards. Okay, they're practically hack free.
I mean, was it last year, 2 years ago, some Saudi hackers stole thousands, hundreds of thousands
from the old
of
system.
bank information, but that's from a database. And the issue is, it's not the smart ID. It's that they want to establish a database of everyone's information. They're looking at private companies to help inform them about how they can make it more impregnable. Well, I just don't understand who's going to have access to this database and who's not going to.
I think the smart cards are kind of useless without the database. The whole point is the database, because then you can take someone's information and you can go into your database and you can cross-reference it, and you can get a whole lot of other information about the person.
Who is going into this database, though? Who are you? You're already talking
police officers.
Well, I looked at the population authorities press release, and what they said was very few people would have access to this.
Very
without
few.
Defining who very few people
they've defined it. Look, this is based on a law that was passed in 2009. Okay, they had a good plan in 2009. Since then, they've had 4 years to improve it, and now they're doing a 2-year pilot project. So they're not exactly jumping right into the water. They're going very slowly, very carefully, and we're also not the only country in the world who does this. More and more countries are getting these smart cards as their IDs. India is going to have 1 billion people, more than 1 billion people.
Mexico already has a database set up for a lot of its kids. I suppose that's true.
So I think the issue is something that's happening in the private sector that's a lot bigger than just what the government is doing. There's this new buzzword called big data, where there are all these corporations that are competing to collect lots and lots of digital information about where you shop, what you search for.
The government should one-up them? I don't understand.
I think it's an arms race. I think companies are competing with each other to collect information on you, and if the government doesn't do it as well, they're going to fall behind. It was revealed that the NSA was spying on most Americans' actions online, and my theory is that the U.S. had no choice but to do that, because companies are doing it all the time, and if the U.S. government doesn't do it, terrorists will do it or corporations will do it, and they can't afford to be left behind. I mean, we're all in this world of big data together, and there's no way to get out of the arms race.
Well, I guess on that note, it appears the government is competing with global corporations for information on citizens in the global village. In Israel, at least, it's up to you to decide whether you want to submit your information to the biometrics database project. You got 2 years to decide, and then it's the government's choice to decide. That's all for this week. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, thanks for watching.